The people who land at the top of the mountain will never know the amount of work, hardship, struggle, and overcoming like it actually takes to get there. There's a huge problem in our society these days when it comes to believing in shortcuts or taking magic pills. When we see all these online programs, whether it be lose weight instantly or get this many followers right away, some people actually get sucked into these, and then when it doesn't end up working out for them, they see themselves as a failure.
I thought I'd fail at failing.
Where if instead of searching out for the next quick fix, they actually took that time to work on themselves and start grinding,
1, 2, 3.
that time would actually be used more productively, and they would actually end up reaching their goals faster, and then end up getting way more out of it. So anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be discussing more about this idea of why when you actually have to work for something, and when you actually have to go through the whole process, it actually makes it way more rewarding in the end, and how you wouldn't actually value it as much without that process. Anyways, let's dive deeper now. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the Jared and James channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, must mean you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform. Make sure to also follow all my Truther content platforms and the second YouTube, aka the Rabbit Hole Roundup, for all that content. When you actually have to work for something, as opposed to having it handed to you, as is actually the case with many things in our society these days. We don't have to struggle for clean water, most of us at least.
Water would be nice.
Most of us also don't have to hunt our own food,
Everything's ready for the quail hunt. Let's go kill some birds. I'm psyched.
or gather our own food. We have things like supermarkets, we have water filters, we all have access to Amazon, which is basically the delivery of everything service. But as a result, when we don't actually work for all these things, we're also missing out on some of the endorphins that we would get if we actually had to struggle to achieve. We miss out on the feelings of accomplishment,
That's me, baby. That's me. I did that.
and we miss out on the opportunity to challenge ourselves. So, what's the solution? To make up for this, we have to actually challenge ourselves willingly. We have to go out of our way. I'm not even talking about like seeking out discomfort. I'm not talking about like putting ourselves through pain in any way, but like we do have to challenge ourselves, whether physically, mentally. I mean, how many people these days are even able like to meditate and to like sit in silence for like 5 to 10 minutes?
Mind if I join you? Cool, awesome, thank you. That was great. I'll see you guys later.
Without needing to turn to their phone or without needing some type of other distraction. And how many people are actually willing to get up off the couch and go to the gym, lift some weights, do some type of manual labor to make up for all this manual labor that like our ancestors would have had to do in order to survive. Now next up, the problem with believing in magic pills or shortcuts is that when you see someone else do it, and they actually succeed in spite of taking the easy path, which may happen once in a blue moon, if you try that same shortcut out and it doesn't work for you, you're going to say to yourself, oh, this goal must be impossible, and I must be a failure because that person did it, so like, why can't I do it the same way? There's always going to be those few people, that select handful, who for whatever reason, whether it's good luck, whether it's falling into money, whether it's doing all the wrong things but somehow like ending up on top, or whether it's the overnight success on social media, who I believe that like some of these platforms actually purposely will select a few accounts and make them go viral overnight, and I think this is like actually how they reel you in, by convincing you that like you can do it the same way too.
You can too.
But that's if you post that same approved content and approved messages. I mean, how else do you create a society who does nothing but conform to the narrative
You'll stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
The same job for the rest of your life?
and doesn't step out of line and doesn't think for themselves? Think about it. And that's also like exactly how they get kids and adults alike hooked on these algorithms. They want you to see all these overnight successes and think to yourself, I could do that too, and I don't have to put any of the work in. Or it's like when I used to buy all these various workout programs that weren't exactly what they claimed to be. There was always someone who would take one of those programs and would get really good at basketball or in great shape and super strong in spite of the fact that like the program itself just wasn't that good. And sometimes this would actually make me think like I was doing something wrong, when really the program wasn't actually based on actual principles. It didn't actually have any real backing to it or any legitimate knowledge, but like it just put this success story on the cover or the super hype video to make you think that like all it takes is 5 weeks and you could be throwing down massive dunks or lifting tons of weight or scoring 20 points per game.
I'm sure that you'll be impressed at what can be accomplished after only a few short days of training.
But like, what I ultimately realized after going through enough of these gimmicky type programs was that the only way to actually achieve my goals and the only way to get there wasn't going to be an overnight success. It wasn't even going to be a 1 month or a 2 month success. It was going to be one step at a time.
One step at a time, one punch at a time, one round at a time.
As the famous quote goes, there's no elevator to success, you have to take the stairs. There is no program out there that could guarantee you 5 inches in 5 months or 20 points per game in 2 months because every person is different.
I guarantee.
We're all starting from different points, and if you buy into that shortcut, you're going to be taking away time that would be better spent just putting in good old-fashioned hard work. And it's like, furthermore, what's one of the best ways to learn, especially for someone like me? Trial and error, not just trial and success, because every time you fail is an opportunity to learn. That's why, as frustrating as it could be sometimes, whether on my healing journey, or whether on my dunk journey, or the journey to any of my athletic goals, the reason why I've made so much progress, and the reason why I love my life so much, in spite of all the challenges I've been through, is because every time I try something, and every time I fail, or every time I don't get the result I wanted, I take that as a learning experience. I learned something new, so like I didn't fail, I just learned another way that doesn't work. So like cross that way off the list, go back to the lab, and keep researching more. Life is all about a learning process. At the end of the day, we're all just downloading and picking up pieces of information, changing and evolving our beliefs, our habits, and if we do so the right way, leveling up each time this happens. And then ultimately finding, after enough trials and enough errors and enough ways that don't work,
It won't work.
we ultimately find the ways that do work. What if you made every shot that you ever took in basketball?
Can you shoot?
Can a butterfly sing? I don't miss.
What would be the joy in that? When you work for something and you have to overcome that doubt, you have to push past failure, and then you get just a drop of success, or a little tiny taste of success, that's what keeps you going, and then it becomes all worth it. What if you got every job interview you ever set out for? What if you got 100 on every test? What would be the joy in that life? As I was speaking about earlier, these days we live in a society where we actually have to make the effort to challenge ourselves. I mean, think about it. There's always going to be 2 options. On the one hand, we could just take the easy path, we could just live a mediocre conventional life, never leveling up, never taking that next step.
Never try, never fail.
Because so many of us can't actually survive that way these days, because we've all been lulled into comfort. But what I believe that actually means, if we do take that easy path, the path of least resistance, is that we're going to end up depressed, we're going to end up unfulfilled, unsatisfied, and very unhappy, because if you're not trying and you're not failing, you're never going to get any success out of that either. But if you're challenging yourself, you put in enough time, you put in enough work, you put in enough effort, you're going to reach some level of success in something that you do. There's no guarantees, but you're going to get something out of it. The next point I want to make is that if we're in this giant video game called life,
shall we play a game?
Imagine if someone drops you off on level 100. How would you know how to survive? Think about this. When you're playing one of these video games and you're in like story mode, how do you get better and how do you level up? You talk to people, you have all these conversations, you have all these NPCs who you're supposed to be learning from.
Who's with this fella?
Surely you remember me. Nigel Billingsley at your service.
Nigel, I thought that was you.
You learn how to fight, you learn different controls, different moves, what buttons to press at each level. But if you just take all the cheat codes to get you to level 100, how much longer is it going to take you to learn how to beat that level, as opposed to had you done it the right way and started at level 0 or level 1, learned everything along the way, and then arrived at level 100 the way that like the game actually intended for you to. So it's the same thing with our lives. If we get placed on level 100 without learning the steps to get there, we're not going to survive, we're not going to stay there. Which is the whole reason why so many people who get handed instant success end up falling all the way back down the mountain.
So how'd it go?
Or will get hooked on drugs or hooked on that dopamine hit. Because they didn't actually slowly work their way up through all the trial and error, through all the failures, and earn their way there. And earn their spot. The way I see it, there's levels to this game, and if you're out here scamming people, treating others poorly, trying to always find the shortcuts, and avoiding the work that it takes, there will be consequences, as I spoke about during one of my other recent videos. I didn't make the rules of life, that's just like the way it is. If you try to lift too much weight before you're ready, you get hurt.
Gotta be in top physical condition for today.
If you steal money from people and get caught, if the system actually worked the way it's supposed to, you go to jail. You cheat in the test, you fail. So I'm gonna finish this off with a famous Bruce Lee quote, I'm pretty sure, which is, don't pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a tough one. Don't look for that easy way out. Understand how powerful you are, understand your true strength, your purpose, how God wouldn't give you more than you could handle, and you got this. Let's go baby. Anyways, love you guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. I will catch you guys in the next one. Stay hustling, stay grinding, peace.